Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to the Bricks King podcast, where I'm going to bet your ear about Lego, review those amazing bricks of plastic, and discuss what is new and up and coming around the Lego world. I'm your minifig host, Matt. Let's bet on it. Welcome in, everybody. How are we doing today? Hopefully you are doing quite well. If you are not, I am sorry. I apologize. Well, I don't apologize. I just hope you feel better or things get better. Either way, I'm glad you're here partaking in the episode, in the show, and hopefully you are enjoying it as well as much as I am, really. So today's show, I have been compiling because I am so far behind. I have responded to these, but I thought it was pertinent to share these listener questions with you. I've been adding them, and I was like, you know what? I want to share them with the audience. So this is going to be the first, not the very first time, but hopefully we'll be able to do more of these. Hopefully I can give you more of these because they're questions that come about. Sometimes they're repetitive questions, and I don't mean repetitive in a bad way. Like, how dare you ask me the same question as Billy Bob did down, 2 months ago? No. That is not the point whatsoever. The point being, I think it's important to know, some people will have a lot of unique questions and all that kind of stuff. So that's what the episode is going to be about today. So let's go ahead and kick it off. First question that I have today that I received in an email. I love when you have Tom on. By the way, there's a few questions about Tom. I don't know if we'll get to all of them today. What is it with Tom? What is the infatuation with Tom? No, I'm kidding. I love Tom. He's such a great guy. I love when you have Tom on. He makes the show even better. Well, thank you. Does he think after the 30th anniversary sets come out that there will be more? That is a 100% Tom question. I will ask him, but I will do my best to answer. I honestly think that Lego, man, this is difficult. I would hope so. I would honestly hope so. I mean, you're looking at JP30, right? You're talking about the big anniversary sets. Tom and I have already kind of been back and forth about it. He will be coming on in an episode up and coming. And I mean, there's so many cool things that you could do all over as far as Lego goes with Jurassic Park. You could hit Jurassic World. I guess with 30th anniversary, you're talking about just the original Jurassic Park, but there's so many good sets that you could do. I mean, some of the ones that are coming out are iconic scenes, like Nedry and a Dilophosaurus, and the visitor center with the raptor and the T-Rex. The Brachiosaurus in the beginning, the poo pile with the Triceratops. There are so many different things I think that you could get as well. We already have the big set that depicts, the T-Rex ambush, rampage attack, whatever. But I think there's some others that you could probably get. And let's be honest, out of 6 movies, even though it's not just original Jurassic Park, a few years from now, we could be talking about Lost World stuff. There are so many they could do. And they haven't even ever touched that. Now, I know there's a lot of purists that are like, well, Jurassic Park The Lost World was not that great of a film, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's your opinion. But there's a lot of people out there that are like, oh my God, that is an incredible movie. I think it is. I think it's a great movie. I love all of them. I am much more partial to the first one, second one. Third one was okay. Jurassic World was like, oh my God, here we go again. What was that, 2015? And now we're what, 2023? Yeah, most definitely. I would honestly, I would rather, well, I don't know. But JP30 stuff, I do think there may be more coming. I don't know. This isn't me like, oh, does he have inside? No, I don't know. But I'd be curious to see moving forward whether that is a thing or not. All right, next question. How about we go to this one? I was following the Lego Masters episodes and thought you did a great job laying them out each week. Would you ever apply to do the show? Oh, I've been asked this before. I may have been asked this in an email. I know I've been asked in person by some people. So that's an interesting thing. It was just season 3 in the US that not just wrapped up, but wrapped up this year before Christmas. Was it season 3? I believe it was season 3. I know that wrapped up. Anyway, I did apply and we got through, I think, the first 2 into the 3rd stage. And we're through that because they want to see mocks that you've done. And I don't do a whole lot of mocking, but my partner does some, but the personality is there. So I would look at applying potentially again. I'm not a big fan of the back end of things that contestants have to go through, and they won't tell you so much on the call when you're there because they don't want to divulge this. Although Ethan, from this past season, him and his partner, I can't remember his partner's name, they kind of divulged some of that. And I don't remember whether it got edited out or not, but I know the person that was running the call was like, giving the cut sign at the neck, like stop. They don't want to give a whole lot of detail out, but it seems very intense. They all say, oh, it's a big family. And I agree. You can see that. And when you're at conventions and stuff, and there's multiple of them there, like Brick World Chicago last year, there were a bunch of them that were there from season 1, season 2, season 3. You couldn't ask about season 3 because it hadn't premiered yet. However, I did apply. Me and my partner did apply. It was a fellow teacher and it was great. It was a cool experience, but I don't know that I would apply again. We get asked, content creators get asked every single season. Myself and everybody under the sun, YouTubers, Twitchers, bloggers. I don't know that there's many other podcasts out there, but a bunch of us get asked every single season. And usually the answer for me is no. I have no problem promoting it and putting it out there for other people to potentially apply. But like I have said before, a lot of people that they are really looking for are people that don't want to come out and be part of a show and such like that, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think a lot of people really just want to kind of be anonymous and just, do their thing. You show up to lug meetings, you show this build and stuff. Some people just don't want to be on camera. They don't want to have, maybe not, I don't want to say you have this expectation that you have to do this outside of the shows after you're on it. But it does change things for you because you're not just going into public anymore and, going to Walmart to your store to shop or wherever you shop. Somebody may notice you and you may have to have that 5-minute conversation. You're just kind of like, I just want to get in and out. But to put a short answer on it, sorry, that was a long one. Yes, we've applied. I have applied. I don't know that I will in the future, but things may change. And honestly, I don't know how long the show is going to be around in the US. In Europe, it's huge. In Australia, it's huge. We'll see what happens in the US. All right. The next one that I have here is this. This is an interesting question. It's interesting for a few reasons, and I'll explain. So the question was, I am a giant Star Wars fan, and I was curious if you plan to do more Star Wars in the future. So here's the 2-part answer. Here's the first part of it. I like Star Wars. I'm not a Star Wars buff. I like the films. I like some of the Lego sets that come out. I am not deep enough to know what this is, that is, and everything else. Ninjago, yes. Jurassic Park, yes. Not to the level of Tom, but yes. And there's other things that I have some kind of knowledge about, Ghostbusters. I can give you everything that you need right there. Do I want to do more Star Wars? Yes. Will I do more Star Wars in the future? I'm hoping so. I like bringing on David from Solid Brick Studios. I would rather have David come on and give you all the inside snippets, all the inside details, because he's not partnered. Partner is the wrong word here, but he has a very working relationship with the Star Wars developers, designers with Lego. And the Star Wars designers have their pod of people in the Ambassador Network. I'm not one of them because I'm not a Star Wars buff. I'm just not. David is one of those. So frankly, I would rather have him come on and break down a wave versus me build it, discuss it, and you be like, well, you totally missed the point about Luke Skywalker and his mom. I don't know. I don't know those things. It's like the Mandalorian right now. I don't have enough detailed, in-depth knowledge. I'm not catching all those little snippets. Now, if Lego decides to go and make the Last of Us sets, I'm in. I am full in. I can give you inside, backwards, upside down. I can tell you, oh, this is why this is, and this is the Easter egg in this set. Star Wars, I'm kind of dumb. And I'm not saying that, I'm a dumb human. I'm stupid when it comes to Star Wars. I just don't have the background knowledge. So to simply answer the question, I plan to do more. Right now, there's not a whole lot out there. I'm waiting to see what is revealed in May. UCS stuff, for me, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And I say that because I'm not a Star Wars fan to that degree where I'm going to go spend $500 on a set and do what with it? I'm not going to display it. I've mentioned this before. My father's a contractor, and there's people that he's done work with many, many times, and they have all the UCS sets and they have them all on display. And, when a new one comes out, they go and they get it right then and there. That's just not me. So I would rather have David or, there's other people in the community, but David really knows his stuff. He's a great YouTuber. If you don't know Solid Brick Studios, please go check him out. He's a really great guy. So yeah, that is the long and the short of it. So the next question here, I have been waiting to get to this one. This has sat in my inbox for a while, and I haven't talked to her about it because I already know the answer. The question is this: I have heard you mention your wife many times on multiple episodes. Does she like your hobby? Is she a Lego fan? Would she ever do an episode with you? Long dramatic pause for a reason, right? She likes my hobby in the sense that I enjoy it. I could be out doing really other bad things that are out there in the world. I have mentioned this before to others and stuff. I am not somebody. So my birthday is coming up here in a few weeks. I am not like this midlife crisis guy where I need to go have the expensive sports car. I just talked about this a few days ago. I don't need the expensive sports car. I don't need to go and spend, I don't know, $10,000 on a jacket. I don't know. I don't know what people do when they hit midlife. However, my hobby is, some of you are going to say, well, no, it's super expensive. It's really not. If you consider in the grand scheme of things, it's really not. So in that vein, she doesn't mind my hobby at all. What she minds is, where are you going to put it all? Because like you guys know, I get stuff from Lego on early release for reviews. I get things throughout the year that I can use from the Ambassador Network. That's all great and grand. But at some point in time, you do. Literally, I'm telling you right now, you may disagree with me. You're like, oh, no, that's not a thing. You do run out of space for Lego. At some point in time, you're like, I have no space for this. Where am I going to put this? I mean, I look at the Lord of the Rings Rivendell set, and I just don't have room for it. Like, it's on a shelf right now in the closet in my studio here, but I don't have any room for it. So I'm looking at it, I'm like, what am I going to do with it? I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Do I break it down? Do I toss it in a box? Do I throw it back in the attic? I have untold amounts of Lego in my attic. She knows that. It goes from building it, reviewing it. Sometimes it just goes in a box and it may not be seeing the light of day for a year, at least. Sometimes I give it away because things that come from Lego, I cannot sell. And I don't think most people are aware of that. Things that come from them, I cannot sell. People have done it in the past. You're not supposed to. It's a guideline you're not supposed to do. It's more of a rule, not a guideline. Some people break the rules. I can't bring myself, A, to break the rules, and B, to turn around and sell it because I just want to keep it. Now I've talked to numerous people about this before. The local children's hospitals between Dallas and Fort Worth, they will not take it any longer. In the past, they used to. They will not take it any longer unless it's sealed. Ever since COVID happened in 2020, they will not take things unless they are sealed. Now, I have given things to my wife who works in, people's homes with speech therapy with kids. And, sometimes it helps, whatever. It could have been like, no, I just want this. I just want this character. I just want this animal. And I've done that. Or I just want a thing of bricks. Okay, here you go. I have no problem doing that. But yeah, at some point you run out of space and there's just nothing else you can do. Now, is she a Lego fan? No, she is not. She would rather Lego disappear from the earth than have to ever see it again. I can tell you that right now. And not in a mean way. It's just not her thing. She doesn't care. And again, it's not in this vein of, I don't care. That is so stupid. It's more of like, cool. I don't really care. Like, there's things in your life where you're like, I don't really care about politics. All right. That is what she is with Lego and politics in the same. Would she ever do an episode with me? We've talked about it. We have talked about it numerous times. She doesn't like the way that she sounds. And believe it or not, on the 300th episode, there were I think I cut the one out. There was a snippet in there of her saying 300. I managed to get that much out of her. I think that's probably going to be the only time that you hear her. I just don't think that she's going to ever come on. If she does, you better thank your lucky stars that it even happened. I don't even know what it would be about. How to kill your husband with thousands of pieces of Lego would probably be like the title of the episode. Honestly, I'm not really sure, but more than likely, you're probably never going to hear her. Let's just consider her the silent partner in the back end of the show. She doesn't have anything else to do with the show. She's just a financial supporter, moral supporter, whatever you want to call it. So unfortunately, I don't think you'll ever hear that. Before we move on to the next question, we have to take a quick break. We will be back in a moment. All right, so I chose this next question because it kind of fits with similar to what we just talked about. So the question comes in, you seem to have a never-ending supply of Lego. Where do you put all of it? I don't have enough room to display most of the modulars. Please keep up the show. Well, thank you. I appreciate that sentiment, that compliment. I don't have a never-ending supply. I know it may seem like that. Things do come in, like I had mentioned earlier. Where do I put all of it? Wherever I can find room. I had already mentioned that. That's why I wanted to hit on this as well. I pretty much wherever I can find a spot. Some things I'll keep. I'll put back in the original box, depending what it is. Like the Titanic I did, but I gave that away on Beyond the Bricks charity stream, almost 2 years ago now. It's like the Eiffel Tower. Where do I put the Eiffel Tower? I don't know. Right now it's sitting in that closet on a piece of furniture. It's what it is. You don't have enough room to display your modulars. Here's my suggestion. Don't buy Lego. No, I'm totally kidding. Continue to buy Lego. I have a lot of the modulars and I went and backbought. Is that a thing? Is that a word? Backbought? It's got to be a thing for Lego. Backbought. I backbought these things from, years past. The original or like the Winter Village stuff. You go back and you're like, oh, I'm going to do this or I'm going to go get that. However, what I will say is if you don't have enough room, put out the things that you love the most, store the other things. Now, if it gets to a point like some people run into, myself to a certain degree, and you don't have enough room for things, you could turn around and sell things. Most of the things that I have, I cannot sell. As I had mentioned on the last question, I cannot just turn around and be like, oh, I'm going to sell this. Eiffel Tower. I can't be like, I'm going to turn around and sell this. I cannot do that. However, just display what you appreciate the most. I recently started streaming again, and I'll talk about that at the end of the episode. But, my display behind me, I have things that are important to me. put up the things you love. Rotate them. You can rotate them weekly, monthly, biannually, whatever you want to do. Just do what makes you happy is the best thing that I can say. Forget what anybody else says. Just, if you want to display a few things, display a few things. If you're trying to display, what are we at? Like 15, 16, 20 bajillion modulars at this point? You're going to run out of room. And it's only going to get worse as we continue to move forward because Lego is going to continue to put out modulars and you're just not going to have enough room. So that is my best advice to you. So I want to touch on this next question because I have gotten this question probably 20 times over the last, 2-3 years. And it's a valid question. It absolutely is. So the question reads as this. I am a longtime listener. Have you ever thought of having a co-host? You are great as a soloist, but I was curious to know if it had crossed your mind. Thank you for saying you appreciate me being here. Because some days I'm kind of like, I don't want to record. I don't want to do an episode and I don't want to do the hour plus of editing, a shorter show. However, it has crossed my mind. I just don't know in what capacity. Here's the thing. I know my schedule. I know when I get home at 4:40, 4:45 every day after my longer drive home, I know what my evening is going to look like. I know I'm going to cook dinner for my wife and my kid and I. I know that I may go in and build something. I may go watch Netflix while I'm doing it. I may go play video games in the media room. I may just, decide to go out to my garden and say, the heck with all of y'all. Leave me alone today. The problem becomes having a co-host is two things. First off, scheduling. Some people just don't have the time. They have other things at home. They can only do certain days, and it may not jive with my days. Most days I can do it. I could probably record an episode 7 days a week, majority of the year. I could. But then we talk about burnout, and that's a whole nother thing. But it becomes a problem with scheduling. So, call it what you will. It's hard enough to get Tom on because we're 6 or 7 hours apart. I think we're 6 hours apart. Bill is 7 hours. Bill in Denmark, where Lego is, if you didn't know that. Fun fact, right? So having that time difference is already tough enough. Now, let's say, for instance, I was going to record with somebody on the West Coast. Like Will lives on the West Coast. And I have a question that we'll talk about Will here in a little bit. But Will lives on the West Coast in California. He's in Sacramento. That's a 2-hour time difference from me to him. So me saying, hey, let's record. If he says, let's do it at 7 p.m. my time, his time, that's 9 p.m. my time, which isn't a big deal. But what happens is sometimes the schedule doesn't work right. My wife goes to bed earlier. That becomes an issue. I don't want to be super loud, even though she's on the opposite side of the house. I still tend to get animated, especially when Will and I have been talking, because what you hear on the episode is about 30 minutes into our conversation. We have already gotten through all the chit chat and stuff like that. And you start getting, giddy and have fun and stuff like that. It's same with Tom. Tom and I chat for about 15, 20 minutes before we start recording, and you get the recording part, but you didn't hear the first 20 minutes prior. Same with Will. You didn't hear the first 30 minutes and you're like, oh. So anyway, scheduling becomes an issue. The other thing is technology. A lot of people don't have a microphone, believe it or not. Not even a headset that has a microphone, like a gaming headset. Most people don't have that. Tom has a great setup because Tom does other things. He does, Jurassic Collectibles. He does other things with his little series that he's doing. I will share that with you in the future. I have to get it from him. I can't remember what it's called, and I don't have the actual access to it. However, with that in mind, technology is a big issue. Some people, look, y'all know, if you've been here or have gone back to the original episodes, you heard the very first episode on the 300th episode. You heard a snippet. The microphone was crap. The sound quality was crap. I can only do so much with sound. You can literally only do so much. It's like when you take a Teams recording or a Zoom recording, there's only so much that you can do when somebody else is maybe talking into a computer microphone. there's only so much that you can do. Some people don't have a $400 microphone. Some people don't have a mixer and other equipment. This is my hobby. That's what I like to spend my money on. It's for you. It's for me. I just want it to sound better, honestly. And it's always a work in progress. But some people just don't have that ability, literally don't have the physical tools to be able to do it. And that makes things difficult. I would like to have a co-host segment. I don't think I would ever give up me being the host of the show ever, unless I was dead, of course, which in that case, I told my son, I was like, if I die, let's say if I die young, because you never know, knock on wood here, I want you to take over the show. Here's what you need to, like, I have directions written out on how to use this, how to use that. I know, you just never know. You could wake up tomorrow and boop, you gone. It just happens. Let's not be so morbid. Let's get back to it. But I don't think I will ever change being a solo guy. Like I said, I think having a co-host on some things like Tom, Will, and not just interview type things. Yeah, I think, trying to do that more in the future is definitely a possibility. So this may be the last question because I'm pretty much at my time limit for today. I was wondering when will come back on the show or come back to the show. Is it something you plan to do again? Why would you put Will and Will next to each other? No, I'm totally kidding. I know why. I have not had Will on in a long time. Just crazy life stuff. Y'all know I've moved multiple times. We built our house here. I had the studio here, the actual studio room, set things up, get everything going. It was a lot, and there's still a lot going on. However, Will and I have recently touched base. I would love to do something again. Again, it comes down to scheduling. Sometimes West Coast, Central Time Zone here in the United States, a 2-hour time difference, it can be tough. Him and his wife, they have a busy lifestyle. They are big into board games, believe it or not. If I'm not mistaken, they've made a few board games. That's another community. You're like, oh, Lego is a niche podcast. No, you have no idea. You have no idea the niche podcasts that are out there. However, I would love to have Will on again in the future. There's so many interesting insights that he has. And I know I've gotten emails and messages from so many of you that said, wow, that was really cool. I didn't know that. Or I love Will. He's awesome because he has all this in-depth knowledge. I don't know some of the deeper dive things that he does, whether it be on a set or a part, or this was used here 2 years ago. Frankly, he should be writing for New Elementary. And again, if you don't know New Elementary, you need to go check them out. They have all the goods about every single piece that comes out from Lego, whether it be new or recolor, or new print, never been seen before for 10 years, and now it's being remolded, whatever. So yes, I would like to do more in the future. Again, scheduling and just look at the general timeline. I can only do so many shows in a week between recording and editing. I only can contact so many people and get so many things in a certain time. And here's the other thing. And I'm not trying to be like, look how fancy I am. Sets are coming in all the time. I buy sets all the time. I talk with people all the time. Brickworld Chicago is coming up in the middle of June. I think it's 16th, 17th of June. I'll be there. That's another 10, 12 interviews right there. That is all editing time. It's a lot. So when I try and schedule things out, I'm looking sometimes 5, 10 shows ahead. Like where can I fit this? I know that Rivendell is coming to me to review. I've got to spend time building it, which was multiple days, many, many, many hours. And then I got to turn around and record it. I got to edit it. And then I have to worry about, okay, well, what is coming next? Okay, I have an interview coming up with Will, bi-weekly, let's say, for instance. I've got to find a way to fit that in some way, shape, or how, whatever. Anyway, I plan to have Will on in the future more often. It's definitely not going to be bi-weekly. There's no way I can do that. But let's say maybe once a month, and we'll do a longer episode. And, you could have questions. He's done a round of questions before. He has. if you have questions for him, if you have a set that you're like, you know what, whatever, we could definitely do that. So I'm sorry. I have 1, 2, 3. There's probably about 10 other questions here. So my plan is to be able to do these here maybe sometime in April, because there's going to be a lot coming here in the next few weeks. But sometime in April, we'll get to some of these other questions. It might be another episode or two. But I appreciate everybody that sent in your questions, your comments, whatever, your reviews that you do, whether it be on Apple or Spreaker or whatever. I get on YouTube, I get comments and stuff. I appreciate it. And I'm doing my best. I'm not sitting here behind a microphone saying, I don't care. The heck with it. Whatever. You get what you get. No, I honestly do have a massive passion for this, and I am trying. So coming up, we have some things that we're going to be building and talking about here in the next week. I can't tell you what it is yet, but we are going to be doing it, and I think you're going to love it. With that said, I am planning to start streaming again. I have been peer pressured. No, I'm totally kidding. The Lego building, brick building community on whether it be YouTube or Twitch, I hang out a lot in the chats of people that are streaming, building different sets I may have built or whatever. I just like the vibe, and I've done it for years and years and years. And some of you know that I streamed, I don't know, during the pandemic year, not very long, a few episodes and stuff like that. It's about to kick into higher gear. I told you guys, it was on last episode or a few episodes ago about Patreon. Patreon is still coming. It is still working things around to give you the best that I can, assuming, or if you choose to, subscribe to Patreon. So that is still a work in progress. I'm going to start streaming different builds on Twitch. If you don't know what Twitch is, twitch.tv. So on there, you can find me at twitch.tv/The Bricks King Podcast. All one word. I know it's super long. And what's even better is when you pop into somebody's stream and they've never heard of you. They don't know my name and they call you, hey, welcome in the Bricks King Podcast, because they're trying to read it. It's all one word. And then some people afterwards say, oh, the Bricks King Podcast, like off of my tongue, it rolls super fast. Other people, so anyway, I'm going to start streaming over there. Check it out. I'm going to do my best. I'm not a streamer. It's going to look very, very amateurish, but like I've told my wife, when I told her I was thinking about this, and I've thought about it for a while. Again, I thought about it for a while. And I told her, I was like, I'm sitting in here in the studio. I'm building many hours out of the week, many hours out of the week. I'm recording, I'm editing, but why not build with other people and talk with other people? Because that's essentially what it is. Whether you're YouTube, whether you're Twitch, whether you use something else, that's what I'm going to start doing. And the thing is, if you are like, well, I don't know what Twitch is, it doesn't cost you anything unless you subscribe to somebody, but it doesn't cost you anything. You can log on, you have to sign up with an account, but that literally takes seconds. It takes almost no time. So you can check it out there. Like I said, twitch.tv/The Brick King Podcast, and come say hi. Come check out some of the builds that we're doing. We've got a lot of cool stuff coming up, and I'm going to try and make it a 2 or 3 time a week thing. It's probably going to be more in the evenings. We've got time coming up. Summer is coming up here in a few months, and I'll have much more time. So I could do things in the morning or early afternoon or late night, where it's like, nobody's awake at 2 a.m. except people that are over on the way far eastern part of the world where the new day starts. So that's going to wrap up the episode. I hope you enjoyed the questions. I hope you learned something from it. Those of you that sent the questions, I hope I did them justice. I didn't get to the other Tom questions on here, but I promise I will. Hopefully Tom will listen to this, is listening to this, and can give me some feedback. Either way, I love all of you. And until we meet again, I'm your minifig host, Matt. Let's build on it.